This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
So the second test, Australia versus West Indies, gets underway. Grenada, Natalie, do you know where that is?
Grenada. Yeah, it's in the Caribbean.
Also a fruit?
Is that the country that America went to war with?
Yeah.
And they use it as an example in, like, lawyers say, this is what we call Grenada, where they just bulldoze the case. Anyway, sorry.
Do they?
Well, that's what, they like, this is the case we call Grenada, where they absolutely dominate and they got no chance whatsoever. That's what they...
Oh.
Yeah.
I think that's made it more murkier than ever, Ross.
Yeah. I'm a bit confused myself with my own statement.
Yeah, you confused me.
Okay.
But,
continue.
Let's go to the cricket. Natalie, where did you go? You went to the West Indies?
Jamaica. No, she went of her own accord. Boom. I did go to Jamaica. Sure.
Ooh.
When you go to Jamaica, by the way, because I've never been, is it mandatory once you get off the plane to smoke a big joint?
It's not, but and it wasn't everywhere, but we did pull up one time where we'd hired a little driver to take us into the hills and stuff, and we pulled up to get something to eat and drink, and there was just this guy standing there on a balcony, kind of like a veranda balcony kind of thing, and he was just like had the big spliff, and he just was standing next to his massive plant that he was so proud of, and he's just like showing us, look at this, look what I did, and he was having a great time.
Oh, God bless him too. One of my friends many years ago when the World Cup was played in the West Indies,
Yes.
he was out in the Terps with one of his good friends and their two wives, and his mate said, I'm going to the World Cup, and my mate said, I'd love to go to that. And his wife, because they'd had a heap of drinks, said, no worries, you can go. She didn't mean it at all. But when she said he could go...
No, that's a contract. Yeah.
He literally jumped
Booked
on
it,
and
booked
booked
it
the
then.
tickets.
Then and there.
So days later, they're having a conversation and she was furious to the fact that he had actually booked this thing,
Yeah,
even though she said it in public, in
Yes.
and around the gang.
Lots of witnesses.
They came to a conclusion that he could still go to this holiday as long as she got a very expensive thing of jewellery.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to be able to offset
Tit
the
for
cost.
tat.
Tit for tat, yeah.
You must have bought a lot of jewellery over the years.
Heaps. My biggest expense was flowers.
I bet it was.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Okay, now I want to change tack to the tennis. And obviously a lot of seeds are hitting the skids and continue to hit the skids in the women's draw.
Absolute carnage.
4 of the top 5.
Yes. Extraordinary.
Arina Sabalenka won yesterday, and they asked her after her match, how is she feeling about all the other top seeds hitting the skids, and she pretended that she really cared. Mate, that's the best news ever. Don't
For
you
her
think?
it is, yeah. For the tournament, not so great.
No.
I mean, unless they get somebody like, especially a local who goes, highly ranked or lowly ranked, I suppose, a local who makes a bit of a run. That's always a fairy tale story. But other than that, like, the seeds getting knocked out in first round is not great for the tournament.
No, it certainly isn't. The one thing that everybody's loving at the moment is all the celebrities that turn up for the Royal Box.
Wild.
Yeah.
So we got to see the other day, it was Kate Blanchett. She was there with Rebel Wilson, Russell Crowe. They were in the same box, okay? That's the Royal Box. And yesterday, or last night, you would have seen in today's...
Yeah, it's on the news. I saw it on news.com, yeah.
They were saying what a odd bunch of people that were in overnight.
So go through some of the names.
So we had Olivia Rodrigo.
Yep.
Yes.
Tom Daley, who I don't know.
He's the
He's a
diver.
diving legend.
He's the one who, he's a British diver and he knits. He's that guy.
And he knits.
Yeah, he won a gold medal in London. He's a local hero, yes.
We had a couple of footy managers, big times, Thomas Turkle and Roy Hodgson, which are legends.
Yes.
Dave
Grohl.
And John Cena was in there.
John Cena.
Yes, John Cena.
The wrestler / actor.
Yeah.
Wild.
So in the Royal Box, there's 72 chairs. There's 72 green wicker chairs that you get to sit in. And, of course, there is dress code. So the man has to wear a jacket and tie. You'll see that in all. And the women have to be appropriately dressed. It doesn't actually say what level,
Yes,
but it's a high level.
No woman's going there in tracky dacks and Ugg boots. Like,
No, they're certainly not.
They're going to be overdressed, if anything. But you can't wear a hat because Meghan Markle got in trouble because she wore a hat and then they went, no, you've got to take it off.
Was it obstruction of view or just
I think the protocol. But yes, probably that's the reason for the protocol. Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton, he was invited the other year. I think it might have been last year. He turned up with a floral shirt. They said, no, can't help you because he wasn't wearing a jacket and or a tie.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Wow.
we don't care if you're F1 champion. You can come in. So
Standards,
that's
mate.
how it works. So
That's big.
The Royal Box is invitation only. It's extended by the chairman of the All England Club, which is not only the chairman of the tennis, but also the croquet. It's a dual role.
How much do you reckon he focuses on the croquet aspect of his job?
Well, no, it's a female for the first time. It's been happening. She's been in charge for quite some time now. Debbie Jevons.
Oh, Debbie.
Yep.
Great work, Deb.
And she actually invites the Royals as well. The Royals just don't.
They do turn up on certain
days?
sessions, but they've got other things on.
Heaps of things. So the Royal children are allowed to go, but other people's children are not allowed to go.
Okay. So you've got to be a prince or princess in order to get a gig if you're under 18.
Yep. And the other part to that is they get to have lunch out into the All England Club, which is just out the back, and the players and stuff are all out there. No one else is allowed in that way. So tuna triangle sandwiches, obviously, possibly a curried egg and a lemon squash all round.
And it's strawberries and cream, obviously.
Strawberries and cream.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Some tea.
Beautiful
tea as
sports report, Shaun. Thank you.
In depth, people say.
Some people would say that.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Footy's on tonight, everyone. North Melbourne is honouring the past. They're up against the Western Bulldogs. Kangaroos have been around for 100 years, so they're celebrating the night tonight.
That's great.
Which is great. Dennis Pagan, their old coach, team of the century coach, he was named. He coached them in 1996 to a premiership in 1999, and Dennis used to spray everyone. One of those old-fashioned dudes who would just go mental. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the front row when Dennis is going off his chops, he'd be spitting on you.
Yeah, great.
Yep. But he revved them up.
Yeah, it worked, obviously.
And they were the biggest team of the 90s. Yeah. And used to play every Friday night. Friday night football was them.
Yeah, it was North Melbourne. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So I wish them all the best. But they're coming up against the Bulldogs tonight, who are trying to find their way through to the top four. Tom Liberatore plays his 250th game. And if they're going to be at one end, which North Melbourne is celebrating their past, because they've got Dennis speaking to the group and then, 40 of their greatest ever players to come into the rooms and get all about it. And then you've got Tom Liberatore is going to be playing his 250th game.
Oh, that's amazing.
One of those, yeah.
Last night, after the front bar, there's that one-on-one interview show with Hamish McLaughlin. Yeah. So it was Tom Liberatore last night.
Oh,
yeah, head to head. And he swears a lot, John. He swears almost as much as you.
That's a lot.
Except they let him just do it because it was late. It's amazing.
His dad played 283 games for the Bulldogs, which is incredible.
So he's going to play more than his dad, isn't he?
Oh, it seems that way.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And of course, Tony won the Brownlow medal in, was it 96?
Sure.
Yeah, a while ago.
You keep going,
check it out. No, it was 1990.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I love the two teams fighting, representing. Well, Western Bulldogs want to make sure they get behind Tom, and of course North Melbourne celebrating their great moment. For our WA teams, they will both list their sides later today. Fremantle will list their team with up to 5 players extra because they don't have to trim their
they're playing
team
Sunday,
until Friday. All the talk this week's been about the SCG and how horrendous it was last week when the two teams are playing. But with the rain, I feel like it doesn't really matter. It just becomes a quagmire anyway.
It'll just be a bog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to get more purchase on a bog, don't you think? Any thoughts? Ross, poo stories?
Or it's turned into like quicksand.
Yeah.
You can't move at all.
Yeah, I think it'll get the go-ahead. The AFL haven't ticked off completely that the game will be better. They will.
Yeah, it's getting a bit late now to change it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, most definitely. And earlier on, we were talking about the West Indies and being the second test gets underway today, and whether you would travel to go and watch a sporting event like that. And you were mentioning that you know people who have travelled.
Oh, yeah, not for a sporting event, but for concerts. When I was in Oslo a couple of years ago, I met some people, a mother-daughter, that were American, and the daughter just tagged along to go on the holidays, but the mum followed Bruce Springsteen around, and she'd been to like 5 or 6 in Europe on this trip. So she basically, Americans don't get a lot of holidays. Her 2-week trip, she basically just where Bruce Springsteen was playing, she went.
Follow the Bruce.
Isn't that amazing? Man. Yeah, follow the boss.
Yeah. I know, bucket list stuff for everybody is to go to the World Cup or an Olympic Games.
Yeah, or like Super Bowl would be amazing. Just because
Super Bowl would be amazing. All the Poms who come over for the British and Irish Lions.
Yeah, and for the Ashes. Yeah, they literally follow it around. Would you ever do it?
Oh,
what would be the thing that would get you?
any of those events that we just mentioned, if I could go and watch an Ashes test, that would be amazing.
Ashes at Lords would be amazing.
Olympics would be huge.
One of my friends
World
paid.
Cup, it'd be all amazing.
She paid a lot of money to go and watch an Ashes test at Headingley, and it rained for the whole day. But because they didn't play, there's a critical amount of overs that if they don't play that many, you get a refund.
Oh, that's
so
good.
when it was called off for the day, she immediately got a text message saying, "Oh, you'll be refunded for your ticket." And because she'd spent a lot, like $1,500 a head, it was one of those fancy packages that was the only seat she could get, and it was bucket list for them, so they did it. But
I guess if you're all in, you're all in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Exactly right. What about, would you do a Grand Prix somewhere? Monaco?
I'd love to go to Monaco and do the Grand Prix. I've been to Monaco and that was wicked fun just cruising around. But a lot of people keep telling me Singapore.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Perth go to the Singapore Grand Prix.
Well, it's so close, basically.
And it's a 3-day...
extravaganza.
Yeah, and so I think it was like $550 that you would pay. Apart from going to the Grand Prix, there's 3 different concerts you can see.
Oh, yeah. Like Beyonce's played it before. Like, big names. Yeah. So they're just all the fun of the fair is worth it, even if you don't watch the races.
That'd be cool. Ross?
2 kids under 5. I'd be lucky to go to the Wembley Football Club Grand Final, I reckon.
God, it's
Sorry,
so
really
depressing.
sad.
It's
It's really sad, Ross.
It's just hard to get.
Yeah, it's really good for
Way to
breakfast
bring
right
the
out
mood
of the
down,
stadium.
Ross.
Sad.
Thanks, mate.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.